Right, time now to speak to the Conservatives, and we're joined by the Deputy Chair, Conservative Party and Shadow Minister for the Home Office, Matt Vickers. Very good to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Congrats on the promotion in the reshuffle. Let's talk about the situation in Epping. Is it being blown out of proportion? Is it a significant worry? What's your take?
Well, I think there's two things going on. One is that whenever you have some of these things, you end up with people travelling from here, there and everywhere to come and stir up a bit of violence and get amongst it and create havoc. But actually, on the other side of this, you've got a community who are genuinely concerned, devastated by what may or may not be going on and have gone on. So they have the right to protest, and that's a good thing. But the reality is whenever these things spiral into violence, it's those same people, it's those communities who suffer the consequences. It's elderly people who lock their doors and don't leave their house at night. It's businesses closing down early. There are real consequences to these things for those communities, and that's why they're out protesting as well.
So interesting you differentiate there. What's your view towards the first group?
The first group, there is no reason that anybody, well, they do not have the right to go out there and create havoc and violence and protest and create unrest. That's just not a thing. It can't be allowed. The police have to really clamp down on that. But for those people who are venting their upset, their anger, I mean, you wouldn't like it on your doorstep. They have the right to go out there and protest about what's gone on. The reality is the situation's getting so much worse. Before the general election, these hotels were being closed. Now they are opening more of these hotels because there are so many more people arriving in the country. It's not a few more people, it's not more. It's nearly 50% more people arriving by a small boat, illegally breaking into the country. It's entirely unacceptable and more needs to be done about it.
So let's talk about what more should be done. And there's been some confusion over the last couple of days of the official party view within the Conservatives towards the ECHR. What is the view?
So I don't see any confusion. The reality is our party has a fixed position. You contrast that with what's gone on, but actually with the other party. But our position is that we should disapply the Human Rights Act in cases of deportation and immigration, which is where most of these cases, it's in domestic courts that most of these problems are occurring. Chicken Nugget Gate, the guy who couldn't have a shave because he didn't want to be deported back to a place where he'd be required to shave. You're doing a good job with that. Those cases are actually about domestic courts over-interpreting things, judges thinking they've got artistic licence. Actually, we said no. We should completely disapply it in cases of immigration and deportation. The law should be decided by Parliament, by the people you elect. And if people come here, I mean, if they're breaking into the country illegally, they should be removed. If they commit an offence of any sort, they should be removed as well.
If that's such a simple thing to do, to disapply it in certain areas, I mean, I'm not trying to always reverse the clock, but why wasn't it done previously?
So you could contrast what went on with the last government and what went on with this government. So the last government was bringing forward a deterrent. That's what we were doing. We were scrapping through the courts.
I get that, but on the ECHR, because typically the argument is you either have to pull out, and that causes all sorts of repercussions for our standing internationally and much more, or you keep it. Why didn't you disapply this core area when in government?
So these cases are actually happening in much greater frequency now. It's not that long. We've had all these random, ridiculous legal outcomes, like Chicken Nugget. There's numerous of them. You flick through the papers today, you'll find another one. They're happening in ever-increasing numbers. So we've said we disapply the Human Rights Act. We don't take any interim judgments. But also, we've said that we're looking at the ECHR. And we're not just saying, shoot it down. We've actually said we have put a commission together. We are looking at the detail of leaving the ECHR. But it is party policy. We would disapply the Human Rights Act.
But not leave the ECHR?
We're making a policy decision on that because it's not just about saying we should just do this. We're looking at all the implications that would have. We'll be coming forwards in the very near future with a fixed position on that. But yeah, everything's on the table. We're very serious about dealing with this. The reality is this wouldn't be the problem that it's become.
But you're saying in one area we've got a party policy, but we don't have the policy yet.
We have a policy. We would disapply the Human Rights Act. We would deport everybody who arrived illegally. That was already a position. We put it down in law that if you broke into this country, if you came illegally, you should be detained and you should be removed. The Labour Party have removed that legislation. They've watered it all down. No surprises, because the Labour Party, with their now Prime Minister, voted against every measure we brought forward to toughen up our immigration system. And actually, Keir Starmer himself was out there campaigning against the deportation of foreign criminals. There's no surprises that since he's took office, the number of people arriving in the country has gone up 50%. We should have known that was what was coming.
Let's talk about the trade deal with India. Is this ultimately a moment to celebrate?
We always welcome trade deals that could have an economic benefit to the country, but we know that last time there was a trade deal with India, it gave beneficial tax situation. no national insurance contributions for Indian workers who came here. It's all about the detail, actually, and we haven't seen the detail yet. I mean, in my part of the world, the American trade deal is costing hundreds of jobs because Starmer, when he pulls up at a negotiating table, seems to stay at the wrong side of the table and negotiate for someone else's interest. In the case of the US trade deal, it's costing hundreds of jobs because we gave tariff-free access for bioethanol. Details got lost, but actually the real consequences of some of these deals, and it's all about the detail.
But I mean, on the US, let's pause on that, and obviously President Trump arrives tomorrow. 10% is definitely a better outcome than even other great allies of the US. Japan settling for 15%.
On the US, we've got worse tariffs in place than we had in March. It's actually a worse situation than we were trading with them before. But when it comes to things like bioethanol...
But so is every country, and other countries have done much, much worse. So your take on that might be that Donald Trump is no longer our friend.
No, the reality is it's a poor deal. When Labour negotiates, Britain loses. We saw it with Chagos. We saw it with this US trade deal. You should always go into all of these trade deals with all of the options open, but work for your own national interests. Come away with the best deal for Britain.
But so would you not have done a deal with the US then?
We would have done a very different deal. We wouldn't have given away the hundreds of jobs in bioethanol across this country, giving tariff-free access on one side while not giving it on the other side. That doesn't make any sense for Britain's interest. It's costing jobs.
Well, it'd be great to have that magic wand to just do a better deal, but...
No, just negotiate better. Look at Britain's interests. I mean, who would argue that Chagos was in Britain's interests? It just wasn't. The reality is he's always on the wrong side of these things. He always makes an absolute mess. Look at the EU. 12 years of access to our fishing waters. Absolutely ridiculous.
They extended the deal that you struck. And look, I mean, Chagos
was meant to be assessed every year. There are real consequences. These deals aren't just about numbers. You might only report it today. There are people who lose their jobs for a lifetime. And we know what's happening to employment figures in this country. We've got to stand up for the British workers.
I don't know what the accusation is there, that we're not covering unemployment figures or not. But anyway...
You should cover this bioethanol story and the impact that deal's having in my part of the world. We'll put it on tomorrow.
We'll give full coverage to one constituency. Just finally, in terms of President Trump's arrival here in the UK, does the Conservatives consider him a close friend still, or are these trade deals a sign that our strength of partnership is not as strong as it was?
It's just not one constituency, it's jobs across the country with a big impact in my constituency. But I think, do you know what? America, we have that special relationship. They're a great partner to us on defence, they're a great partner. We have a huge interlocked economy. We need to work with the President to further our interests, but we also need to stand up for Britain in doing so.
Matt Vickers, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Much appreciated.